the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is an AVNation special. Almo E4 is back in person. This is an AVNation special. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. Last year, I got the chance to get out in real life, in real person, and hang out with the fine folks at Almo Pro AV and our buddy Melody Craigmile in Dallas. It was kind of the first in-person, real-life E4 that I got to experience in a number of years. With us to talk about E4 and the fact that it's coming back in real life in 2022. First and foremost, the aforementioned fantastic Melody Craigmile. Welcome, ma'am.
Thanks, Tim.
And also with us, a young man I got to meet in real life through the pandemic at Infocom a number of years ago. Richard Hutton from Sharp NEC. Welcome, sir.
Hello there.
And the Duke of Music himself, Mr. Patrick Whipke from US AV. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me. I love it.
Absolutely.
Great company here.
Absolutely. So we mentioned this, Melody. We'll start with you on this. The first E4 coming back in 22. You and I were chatting the other day. It was 2 years ago. We were getting ready for some. COVID happened. You guys did a really good, incredible job of doing kind of the virtual one. And now we're coming back. The first one on the docket is Anaheim on March 22nd. One-day event. First and foremost, if somebody's never been to an Almo E4 event, like give us kind of an overarching, what is it and what to expect?
I would characterize it as really there's something for everybody. I mean, it's the 4 E's are education, all CTSRU certified, education. You've got the expo with great products like from our partners at Sharp NEC. You've got the exchange, and that's really networking with different peers, instructors, and then finally it's an experience. You know, all of that put together is really a great one-day experience where, you know, it's thanks to our partners, there's no charge, and you get to experience all the excitement in the Pro AV industry in one day.
All right. Richard, we'll talk with you, start with you on this part here. Melody mentioned the expo part. One of the aspects of this is where, you know, dealers as well as, you know, AV users can come in. They can peruse the expo part, walk through. They can see a video wall if they don't have one, you know, available and they're looking for that in their facility. They can listen to speakers. They can interact, but they can also kind of talk with folks like you about what's here and what's now, and you know, watch it in person. But they also talk to you about what's coming down the pipeline. What's been your experience connecting with both the dealers as well as the AV users over the years?
Yeah, I think that's really important to note, the fact that not only the dealers come, but they can bring their clients, prospective clients. We have stand-up meetings with a bunch of folks throughout the day. What we try and do, and certainly what we're going to be doing at Anaheim and future events, and we've been a long-time supporter of E4 through the years, is we really bring either what's in the market right now, but we also try and bring products that are going to be in the market down the road to give folks a taste of what's coming. And we back the truck up. We bring a lot of equipment to E4 because this is not a tabletop with some literature and some candy to give out. We're showing the product. So, you know, this year we've got our Active Scene product, which is our projection digital signage solution onto glass. We're going to set up a demo of that. We've got DV-LED product. We've got the new Sharp High Bright product in the booth. So we really go full hog, and we love that interaction. And that's what makes the day, you know, to Melody's point, the overall experience is fantastic. For me, it's that interaction in the booth when you're talking to current and prospective dealers, and also the clients that they bring as well. And we do, we invite folks to come in too, because it's a great opportunity. It's in local market. To your point, you might not have the budget to go to an Infocom or you know, an ISE or whatever, the big shows. E4 gives us an opportunity to be in the local market, and obviously Southern California market's pretty darn big too, but it's nice being right in slap bang in the middle of it and we don't have those conversations. It's a great day for us. I'm starting to feel tired thinking about that day because it is quite exhausting. We're excited too. To your point, we're coming back a little bit, right, and having those face-to-face interactions, and we're super excited about being there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard, really quickly, because you used a phrase there that I don't know that everybody knows or understands, the tabletop. Describe for me, or kind of contrast for me, E4 and the tabletop experience that you were referencing.
We do a lot of stuff through partners, and there is a time and a place for that kind of interaction. If we just want to get a human body there to a space, and it's a small space, our stuff is big, right? So It's kind of hard to sort of show the portfolio on a 6-foot table. And I think that's what differentiates E4 as well. We're typically in a pretty big room, and Melody gives us the space to kind of spread out a little bit, so we can show things like our installation projection models actually working. We can go in there and put up a DV-LED video wall to show. We really have the freedom to show our full portfolio, so it's very different than some of the even smaller events that we do. And not that there isn't value in those, depending on the market, but E4 has always been a sort of a step above.
Yeah. Patrick, I want to bring you in this. One of the things that USAV, you guys are a network of a number of different types of integration firms, security as well as obviously AV. Talk for a second about what the value is for you and for your members, and then for their clients.
There's a lot of value. We see the E4 as that next level of folks coming, the ones that can't, like you said, get to the Infocom shows or the ISCs of the world. So you got your technicians, you got your engineers, your salespeople, but then they're also bringing their end clients and using that as a way to showcase the entire portfolio of it's not just a video wall. Now it's video walls, it's audio, it's video. There's all types of products to bring different end users to with different needs, so they can kill a lot of birds with one stone just by coming to the event. And like Melody said earlier, if you're not there for the expo, there's the whole education side of things. So, getting your CTS credits and your renewal units to continue those continuing ed is huge in of itself, and it's free. So, it's amazing. There's a lot to offer for everyone. You can come for the expo, you can come for education, you can come for both, and it's a win-win.
Melody, let's touch on the education part of the E4. 3 superstar educators in this industry. You've got Chuck Espinoza, you've got Rob Zeb, and you've got Tom Kerr, right? Tom Kerr and Rob both work for you guys. Obviously, Chuck is a part of the Avixa crew. Talk about the importance of not just the CTS RUs. RUs are important. I'm not going to say they're not, right? Renewing your CTS every 3 years with 30 credits, you've got to do that. But talk about it just beyond that, right? These are 3, and they're not the only ones doing education, right? I mentioned those 3, but these are folks who are passing on the knowledge, passing on the education of the industry to kind of the next generation, and those folks that are looking to expand their knowledge base.
Yeah, I think one thing we did a little bit different this year, I've served on the Avixa LSC, and I know one of the big initiatives for our industry is bringing in younger people, and that requires some fundamentals types of classes. So we have a mix of conducting a needs analysis and project management and design and essential core things that even a seasoned person could stand for a refresher on, probably doing the most important thing, which is that needs analysis. And on the other side of the coin, we have a class about cybersecurity. And of course, the USAV group knows very in tune with that. But what are the implications of cybersecurity on AV? Then we have talking about hybrid and high flex environments, and what is that going to look like coming down the road in the next 2-3 years? And then right back at it, we've got a class on power and grounding. So again, fundamentals and trending topics that people are eager to know what's going to be happening 3 or 4 years down the road. And I think the CTS is important, not only for the CTS holders, but we discovered a few years ago that that CTS lends credibility to our curriculum, and that is a paramount for us, is that you're not going to sit through a product commercial. You're going to get something of value you can take back to, your business that day, and it's been a great partnership with the VIXA on that side, and glad to have Chuck Espinoza back on the tour.
And I know that Chuck is glad to be back on the tour as well. Just in talking to him, he's happy to be back on the road. Richard, I want to bring you on this. Melody mentioned the fact of grabbing these folks. We'll talk to Patrick about the cybersecurity part. But when you're talking to clients and customers coming through, and as they're trying to get their folks back in the office, right? And whether that is hybrid, whether that is 100%, in person, whatever that looks like, what is it that you're able to talk to them about and kind of bring up when it comes to the technology and the AV part? Like, here's something that Sharp NEC can 100% help you with as we kind of move back into the office.
I think that, yes, there is a move. So firstly, there is a move back to the office, but I also think there's a general acceptance now that we need to be able to communicate and interact and collaborate anywhere we are. And I think if the last 20 months has taught us anything, actually officially we can say 24 months now, can't we? If the last 24 months can teach us anything, it's that flexibility that we need. So one of the exciting things about having the Sharp product portfolio now is they have a whole class of window collaboration devices. We're going to be having I think our 70-inch model in the booth. So we're talking about sort of accessibility to the technology wherever you are, if you're in the room, if you're at home, as I'm dealing with right now, where I've got folks on my team that are at home and in the office. So whenever we're in a meeting room, we kind of eat our own lunch kind of thing and use that same technology as well. It's really having that flexibility to remain collaborative and not rely on the sort of I'll call it old-fashioned meeting room technology. We have to acknowledge that there are folks not in the room physically, but also need to have valuable input. So it's those conversations that we're having with higher ed establishments, the corporate environment, pretty much everybody, because they're all having to deal with this now. And I think it's accelerated because now there are more folks going back to the office. So now we've all figured out how to do things remotely. We all kind of had it figured out how to do things in the office. Now we need to figure out how to do it in both places at the same time and have equal value to those inputs. So it's a really exciting time to be in the space. I think the market is, the demand is huge right now. I know we've had some supply chain issues too, but speaking to dealers that I talk to, I know one gentleman in the Southern Cal area actually said to me, I've had this business for 25 years. I have never seen the demand and the questions coming through around how do I operate now in this mixed environment, because that's what my clients need. It's super exciting.
No, it is 100%. And I think that pull, right, I think everybody in the market is feeling right now. Patrick, let's ask about cybersecurity, about just security in general, right? When it comes to the AV side, when you're talking with your folks and your members, what are they saying that's happening in the marketplace, and the way that your AIs and your folks are able to kind of mitigate some of those issues and fix or at least kind of head off some of the cybersecurity issues that AV faces.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking cybersecurity for a while now, more on the PSA side than the USAV side, but we've been preaching it for the last couple of years. I would say the AV guys are a little bit behind the security guys when it comes to cybersecurity, but they're definitely getting more and more in front of it, especially as everything comes out on the network now. You have to be, the term cyber hygiene. You have to have good cyber hygiene, right? So making sure that everything's password protected and all those simple things that go a long way. We've been pushing to our members now, and everyone is really getting on board with cybersecurity for sure. But it's definitely, it's here, it's now, and it's going to continue to get harder to do and harder to maintain. And so the more you can learn about it and take classes like it, Melody's talking about at E4, is just going to help you with that cyber hygiene.
Yeah, absolutely. Melody, we mentioned the fact that your first one of the year is in Anaheim on March 22nd. But this is something that goes along the entire year and all around at least the states here in the U.S. We've got in May, you'll be in sort of my neck of the woods in Chicago, just north of me.
My neck of the woods.
I know. At least I'm a Bears fan. At least I have that going for me. And then September you've got DC, and then October you've got New York. When you talk to folks that have never been, right, and you look at things like, Richard mentioned the fact that they back the truck up, right? Well, there's a reason for that. It's because whether it's Anaheim or it's DC, and I will fully admit I have driven in three of those four cities, right? I've never driven in DC because everybody that lives there has warned me not to. Now, I've driven in Southern California, right? I got no problem sitting on the 405, right? I've driven in rush hour traffic through the Lincoln Tunnel in New York. Not a problem. DC scares the bejesus out of me for some reason. But the reason that Richard mentioned back in the truck up is because you can bring all of your customers kind of in one spot, right? Gas prices are going up. You don't have, the manpower, or you don't have the capital to take Richard's ginormous, gorgeous displays, here and there and everywhere. Talk for a second about the impact and the power of bringing kind of everything in one spot, in one place for you to bring your customers to.
Yeah, I think the big impact for our integrators that have really latched onto this is that through their partnership with Almo and our manufacturers, they can bring that end user there and show them everything that they have the ability to offer through the partnerships, whether that's displays or DV LED or projection systems and screens, and we have the ability to paint that kind of entire solution for them in many different ways. And when we were in Dallas, there was a lady who owned an integration firm, and she brought two of her big pharma customers, and she was like, this was amazing. This is a business proposition for me. It's not just a show, but this is allowing me to bring to light the things that I can offer because I don't have a showroom, or they don't want to come to the showroom, or it's been closed, or it has 3-year-old product in it, but I can bring them here, and NEC's backed up the truck. It's all new. And those are some of the real challenges that integrators are having right now with wanting to present their business proposition.
Well, that's actually a really good point. Is how many integrators have actual showrooms now, right? And we're talking on the commercial side here. We can have a discussion about the residential side all day long. It's a different conversation. It's a different show. But the vast majority of commercial integrators really don't have what you would call a traditional showroom. Certainly, they eat their own lunch, as Richard says, right? Whether they've got conference rooms and they use them, but it's not like a showroom. This does allow them a chance to do that. Richard, as we kind of wrap this part up, when you're looking at shows like Anaheim, Chicago, DC, and New York, what's something that you want your dealers, right, to understand that you're coming to them, but what do you expect out of them? Like, who do you expect them to bring?
From past experience, it's the owners, the C-suite folks are going to come because it's a good way. I'll have to admit, there are other vendors there apart from Sharp NEC Display Solutions. For some reason, Melody keeps inviting other folks. I don't know what that is, but so it's a great way to, and especially now, right, to say, yeah, we've done the Zoom calls, and we might have gone to Infocom in October. But this is a great way to get round and sort of reinvigorate those relationships with those key manufacturer partners. Feel free to ignore everybody else and just hang out in our booth, by the way. But that's a reality. But I do think that that point of showing your client the power of your relationships in the industry across a really broad swath of key players, bring your end client there. We have super valuable conversations when the end client is there too, because I'm in marketing, so I want to tell my story, but I know I'm typically trying to tell my story to somebody else who I'm hoping is going to tell my story to their client, because ultimately they're the ones that are going to use the equipment, place the POs, deal with the design issues, all that kind of stuff. So that's super powerful. You can show your prowess, your relationships with these key manufacturers right in front of your client, and move projects forward. That's the other thing. We get good value out of E4 because, yes, there are folks that are maybe thinking about a project down the road, but there are often times we're meeting integrators and end clients that are sort of in that discovery phase, right? They've isolated the budget. They know they need to kit these rooms out. They're moving to a new building, whatever that trigger is. And E4 is a great platform to go move that process along. And I'm not just talking from a sales funnel standpoint. It really helps the client get a visual on what I'm going to see in my room. How can I make that interactive? How can I make that space more useful? Maybe it's a meeting room for half the day and it's a huddle space for the rest of the day, or it's where we hang out and, I don't know, watch the World Cup. I'll use a global sports analogy. These rooms are getting used for lots of different things now. Now you can actually picture that LED wall. You can picture that projection device in that space. So it helps us kind of move those projects forward. I think there's a lot of power there, and the integrator can really get those relationships moving on, but also show their clients the products and the solutions that they're going to end up using anyway. I think it's super powerful. There's nothing beat the virtual stuff is great and all, but nothing beats seeing it face to face.
There was something that during the pandemic, right, and very well intentioned, very smart people, probably smarter than me, were bemoaning the death of the trade show, right, both big and regional. And what you just said there kept going through my brain, right? I don't care how good your display is, how good your TV is, how good the thing connected to your computer is. If Richard comes out with a 16K display, which I'm not saying he did, and I'm not breaking an NDA. I don't know anything.
Back the truck up, Richard. Just back it up.
But if he's showing it, me watching it through the compressed video of Zoom on my 1080 whatever is not going to do it, right? Listening to a gorgeous, line array speaker system from Harman through my itty bitty computer speakers is not going to do it, right?
Yeah,
you're
totally.
doing it in person,
No, 100%. I mean, it's seeing it in real life, right? And if you're Harman, I guess hearing it in real life, right? There's nothing more powerful. And I think there's a pent up energy and a want for that, right now.
Absolutely. Patrick, I'll ask you this real quick before we get out of here. Richard mentioned that some folks may or may not have gone to InfoComm in October. Certainly, there are some folks that may not have the travel budget to go in June this year. So whether it is Anaheim in March, Chicago, DC or New York, why do you think that your members and other integrators should attend these regional Almo E4s?
Well, I mean, just like you touched on, some of them don't have the budget to go to InfoComm to see it. Others, this is a more intimate show where you can get that more the quality over the quantity conversation. So you can talk to Richard and bring your end client and have those more personalized conversations about specific projects. Where the bigger shows, you're flying in, looking at some stuff real quick and going out. Here you have the full day to spend with very specific, high level people, manufacturers, mainly just Sharp NEC, but might be a few others there too that you could deal with. I don't know. It's a great. That's just what I heard. It's a great spot to network and experience. And like we talked about, hybrid's here to stay. So how are these manufacturers coming out with products to bring hybrid into that conference room, that meeting room? It's a really good spot to see new technology and bringing your end clients to see that new technology and touch it and feel it themselves. And you can show them what it's going to be like in their space. That's huge. Like Richard said, I mean, you could show them a piece of paper all day long. You could look at your 1080p display virtually all day long, but unless you're there in person experiencing it, that's what it's all about.
No, absolutely. Melody, Almo E4 in Anaheim, March 22nd. It is a Tuesday. If somebody wants to find out more information, they want to register, they want to come on by, they're in the Southern California area. How do they do that?
Yeah, just go to e4experience.com and There you'll see all the courses, the RUs, the speakers, the exhibitors, and all the information that you would need. So again, thanks to our sponsors like Sharp and EC, there's no charge, and that's really something else that's really great because it's accessible to many people, the small business owner or the large business owner. We wanted to make it something that was accessible to students, to small integrators, large integrators, and I think that's also something that's made the E4 special over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. You can bring your customers out. You can technically take them to lunch because lunch is free there. So however you want to position that with your client. So thank you guys so much. Again, you can keep going back to the E4 experience for Chicago. Chicago is in May. DC is September. New York is October. But March 22nd is the Almo E4 in Anaheim, Tuesday, March 22nd. Thank you all. Melody, if somebody wants to find out more about Almo Pro AV, how do they do that?
That's it. AlmoProAV.com. That's the web address. And stop in and see us at Anaheim.
Absolutely. Richard, thank you, sir. Will we see you in Anaheim?
Absolutely. With bells on.
With bells on? And
maybe not with
truck in the
bells,
back?
actually, thinking about it.
How do people connect with you between now and then?
Twitter, Richard Hutton 67. I'm in the AV Tweets group. I'm on LinkedIn. You put pressure on me then because Melody started saying her website address, and just Google Sharp NEC Display Solutions. You'll find our website.
Understood. There's a longer story there. Sharp and NEC came together about 18, 19 months ago, and actually almost 2 years ago now. So they're still doing that. Patrick, thank you, sir. How do people connect with you or USAV?
USAVgroup.net right now. Big things coming up on the horizon, so get ready. Excited for exciting spring and excited for all the E4s coming up. So getting back in person, seeing everyone, and having fun.
Very cool. All right. Thank you guys so much. For AVNation, go by our website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. And follow along as we also hit a number of the Almo E4 events. I mentioned the fact that the Chicago one is just north of me, so I will be hitting that one. So check all that out and more at avnation.tv. avnation.tv.